to today's discussion, finally. We had a few of these meetings already, but I guess today's session is going to be a little different. Usually, we dive straight into the technical weeds, start debating architecture, exploring the edge classes, and solving sort of tough problems. But today, I was thinking we could take a step back and perhaps look at the bigger picture. We are recording this session, and some of the people watching later, they won't have the exact context we have and we've been building over time. So it's also a chance for us to reintroduce ourselves, to share who we are, what we're building, and most importantly, why it matters. Let's kick things off with some quick introduction. So please share your name, your role, and how you ended up doing this crazy Trigslink project in the first place. Gianluca, maybe you want to start?
Yeah, sure. As you obviously have heard, I'm Gianluca. I handle all things to do with smart contracts and blockchains. And I was on the lookout when this hackathon opened for a solid team to build with, to build something meaningful. And that's when I connected with Aakash, and we started bouncing around many ideas. And that's where the early shape of Trigslink started to form. Aakash, feel free to talk about how it was on your side.
Hello, I'm Aakash, and thank you, Gianluca. And it's a great pleasure to be here. And yeah, talking about the ideas. As soon as I met Gianluca, there was an enormous exchange of ideas from both of the sides. And being particularly from the AI background, we started thinking about new ideas about integration of new cool things in the AI, such as MCP and integration of MCP and in DeFi. And during all this, we met Odudu, who started to bring on business concepts into the frame. And probably because of that, we all started thinking about this entire project as a product development. And yeah, I think the later must be carried out by Odudu over here.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I've been closely following the Chainlink hackathon and was captivated by the real-world impact blockchain technology can have. Sha, it's not just about innovation; it's about building with purpose. Yeah, these two guys that just mentioned, Gianluca, Aakash, are really amazing. That's what inspired me to join the team and contribute meaningfully to something that can truly make a difference. Thank you.
And I guess these three guys, Aakash, Gianluca, and Odudu, you already formed a team when I came in. And I love hackathons. So basically, I came into the server on Discord and posted on the devs channel saying I was looking for a team with my stack. And Gianluca reached out to me and we started brainstorming ideas. Then we realized we needed someone on the AI and data side. So that's when I thought of Charles.
Hi, nice to be here. So when I first I was connected with the team, I was really impressed because normally in Hackathon I was being solo developer, but this time we have a complete full stack. And while I was kind of quitting corporate senior executive job for AI machine learning, building AI agents, then I realized that MCP might be a good kind of area we should be focusing on, because despite such a huge potential, there are so many problems with MCP for more kind of adoption. So that's why we are here trying to shape things up.
Well, thanks for the introduction, everyone. Hearing everyone's story just reminded me that it was actually the right place at the right time. Now, when you look at it from the outside, when you deep into details, whether it's architecture or be the code or technical decisions, it's easy to lose sight of what's most important. And the most important question right here is why we're doing what we're doing. I mean, why are we building this in the first place? So let's use this session not just to update each other, but also to reflect and explain this project to a wider community, especially for those who never met us before and tuning in now. Here's what I thought we could be covering today. First, let's dive into Trigslink. What is it? How it started? And the core problem it's actually solving. That naturally brings us to MCPs. And by that, I mean model context protocols, a relatively unexplored but critically important aspect of the AI. We believe MCPs are the key to the future of intelligent systems. From there, I guess you can zoom out and look at the broader AI landscape, how it's evolving, and how the current systems are built and how they run today in today's market. And this will then naturally lead us to the role of blockchain in AI, why this matters, and how decentralization can play a critical role in shaping the future of innovation. So before we start, let's talk about the elephant in the room. MCPs, what are they? And why are they important? Charles, could you explain that to us?
Sure. So if you ask a large language model, so what's the weather today? So it actually will get confused. It will actually say, sorry, I don't have the data of that. Because large language model was normally trained with, for example, 1 year old all the knowledge of human, but not necessarily linked to the real world. You have to enable all kinds of plugins like web search. And then very quickly, it has structured output and then tool calling. So tool calling is the way you can connect up to 128 external tools or APIs for a large language model to automatically detect from your context. So then that's OpenAI. Then everybody using the tool calling function, but very quickly, Anthropic, which is a major player also there, come up with MCP, model context protocol, which very quickly adopted by all the major players. This is very rare in the industry. All the competitors like OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, pretty much everybody adopted that protocol, which is open source, as well as a lot of SDK, Python, Rust, and a very mature TypeScript SDK as well. So the idea is that this is a protocol identifying not only the tool calling, but the resources, the prompts, a lot of things that you can every resource provider, for example, Chainlink, there's an open source data feeds link, CoinGecko, WhatsApp, and all the things you can think about. Normally we use API to access. Now they provide MCP server, meaning they can be recognized, easily integrated with language model. So they suddenly give us a kind of enormous potential for the language model to talk to the real world. However, MCP, given its early stage, it's not that easy to use, and it's a lot of security holes. We'll cover later. So for now, I will stop here. So this is kind of a defining moment for the language model to be linking to the real world through MCP protocol, pretty much supported by all the industry vendors.
Exactly. And part of the challenge that we had to overcome, being it such a new technology. I was thinking, before we dive into the specifics of our platform, there is a key question at the heart that we had to answer, at the heart of what we were building. And that is how we actually connect blockchain with AI, and perhaps more specifically, now I'm talking like real kind of code cases. How do we actually connect it effectively with the emerging of MCP and put it in the context of a marketplace? So this is where things get really interesting, actually, because it's not just about adding blockchain on top of the AI, but it's about enabling a new kind of infrastructure. So one that's open, but also decentralized, and is open to context, so context aware. So let's break down that process and the way we had to think about it in more detail. Akash, I guess you're the perfect person to explain this.
Thank you, Yellie, for this. So as we can see right now, the MCP marketplace niche is growing exponentially and helping us in every aspect, such as coding, connecting components, and controlling them via a host or various agentic platforms like VS Code, Copilot, Cloud, and etc., which seems pretty awesome. But what we wanted is to include this MCP facility into DeFi, like on-chain networks for complete transparency. And with the help of amazing functionalities by Chainlink, it became possible where we integrated a decentralized marketplace and created a decentralized marketplace for the providers to host their MCP on chain, and the consumers can rent it out with a very minimal amount of AVAX directly through chain. So the most interesting part over here is the integration of DeFi-based MCPs like gas optimizers, yield optimizers, and etc. So in the hackathon, we integrated a yield optimizer MCP, which basically works on a Trigslink agent, which is a personalized agent for the consumers subscribed MCPs. So yeah, I think talking about Trigslink, it could be a very good platform and a very potential platform integrating providers and consumers for advanced AI and DeFi tools in the near future.
Definitely. And now looking back, it feels quite good having achieved that. But I don't know if you guys remember, like thinking about this step by step and actually practically making this work. What does our current architecture look like? And how did we make it involving? So how does Chainlink fit into the picture right now? Gianluca, you're probably the best one to talk us through that.
Yeah, sure, I'd love to. So currently we use an on-chain provider to consumer service model, and it works out of the box and is agnostic to the MCPs. And it's a plug and play subscription based service. So when you subscribe as a consumer, you're allotted this MCP for 30 days, and we use Chainlink price feeds to price the MCP subscriptions in AVAX. But we have some improvements we would like to make on the subscription side, where providers shouldn't be restricted to serving 30 days for their consumers. And we should allow this to be configurable, else a provider is locked in for 30 days and they would have to take 30 days to wind down their services. And also another thing would be we would like to implement a staking and inspection model that would enforce service level agreements, because currently our current system is we use a licensing model, and this works in Web 2, but it's kind of the antithesis of Web 3. So we need a staking model to ensure that the providers are fulfilling their obligations. So in the new model, they would put up collateral to ensure they are meeting SLAs and meeting their service checkup uptime. And then additionally, we would need a stake penalization and compensation system using periodic randomized upkeep checks with Chainlink VRF, and we would be calling off-chain MCP functions with Chainlink functions. Those would be the additional Chainlink services we would be implementing.
Yeah, and I guess that thinking about that kind of maps it out our plan for decentralization through providers. But what about our users? What does it mean for them to have this kind of infrastructure? I mean, as a user, what would you be expecting from Trigslink in the near future? And especially when it comes to, regular features and experience, like just using it, basically. And I think, Odudu, you got a great insight to that. Perhaps would be able to give us a bit of a preview.
Yeah, thank you very much. Having a platform, a system without that interface would be a problem. So merging this one together with it will give the users a good experience. So this is another important part. As earlier mentioned by Aakash, Trigslink AI agent. So that is what we are using first. That is our most prioritized kind of agent. So this is personalized agent for the users based on what you are using it for. Because we have two users, the providers as well as the consumers. So we would try as much as integrating another AI agent, which is a Elisa OS to the platform, which users can chat and have their problem being solved immediately. So we would go far to make the system a simple platform, that is by simplifying the visual elements and language for easy understanding. And we would as well look into the responsiveness of the system so that it will load very fast to ensure pages and actions response quickly across devices. So we would also have instant feedback system and support so that we can provide immediate response to users during their access to the platform. Then to make it very, very neat, we need to have a consistent colors, fonts, icons, and layout patterns. So this would be put into place, and we would try as much as we can to make it accessible in all devices, that is desktop, mobile, and tablet. So most importantly, we need to have an effective onboarding session. So we would provide tutorials, tooltips, and user guides so that users would know how to navigate the platform very easily. Then one other important thing we need to also bring up is that users mostly got frustrated when they go to a system and actually insert some commands, or to a certain point or reaching the finishing lines, they have some kind of problem like system shutting down, disconnected from online, and when they come back to the system again, their data are being erased. So we want to actually implement autosave capabilities so that once you come back where you left, you continue from there. So I think with all this, we would enhance the experience to truly top notch. Thank you.
And thank you. And now I just want to zoom out and look a bit at the broader ecosystem, especially when it comes to other Web3 players in this space. What are they doing with AI right now? And where does Trigslink fit into this landscape? Charles, could you share your perspective on the current AI in Web3 market and tell everyone how Trigslink is contributing to it?
Charles, you're muted.
Thank you, Yellie. I will share my thoughts and also explain our contribution. So first of all, there are so many players in the AI plus Web3 landscape. However, if we look closely, especially those deeping decentralized physical infrastructure. So for example, renderer network, so they actually kind of using a decentralized way to share spare GPU resources for a very niche professional job, which is rendering of 3D design, this kind of thing. So, but when we all agree right now, for example, MCP opened a kind of a physical world and all kinds of API to language model, so this has much bigger, use cases, so and audience. However, if we say, so any kind of a normal user, they want to use MCP to do something kind of really cool, like Aakash yield curve optimizer, as well as a kind of an analyzer or financial advisor for my portfolio, right? Whenever there's so news coming, for example, from Trump social, so which will affect a lot of our own investments. So this kind of thing is still very difficult to do. So there's an accessibility issue, as well as availability. How can I kind of hook up all these MCP resources, for example, Chainlink data feeds, CoinGecko API, as well as the WhatsApp group I'm in, as well as, so sometimes I'm busy, I'm driving, 1 hour to the work, so I want some podcast kind of tailored to my needs. So all of those MCP servers are there, but so it is so difficult for a kind of a non-professional to link all these services together to serve my specialized needs. So that's, I think, so that's exactly what the Triglinks can help. So we kind of like Odudu said, we lower the kind of barrier. We added a user experience and make it so easy to use. And more importantly, this is decentralized. So we also through Chainlink, not only we entrusted the provider, the remote MCP resource provider, to make sure they are providing genuine, useful information, but also we solve another problem for these creators, providers to have the revenue share, so that we can have a true cross-sourcing kind of a network, kind of a win-win situation for the resource provider, just like a miner, but also user with a very low cost. So I think we contributed to, just summarize, so we contributed to the, safety of the MCP, accessibility of MCP, as well as we solved the revenue sharing scheme of MCP through our platform as well as Chainlink.
Sure. Thank you, Charles. And thank you, everyone, for sharing your thoughts today, for being good devs, and most importantly, for being good teammates. It's pretty amazing to reflect on how far we've come, and not just on building Trigslink, but in shaping a shared vision that bridges AI, blockchain, and most importantly, open infrastructure. What started as a few conversations and a shared curiosity has evolved into something with real potential to impact how intelligence is developing, deployed, and obviously owned. Today, the discussion wasn't just for us, it was for everyone tuning in. So these could be developers, founders, researchers, and curious minds who believe, or like we do, that the future of AI should be open, contextual, and user-driven. We're still early, and there's so much left to build and refine and discover and what have you. But if today showing anything is that we have the right team and the right mindset and a powerful mission to guide us. To everyone watching, thank you for spending your time and listening to us. If you're curious to learn more, you can get involved and follow our journey on socials, and perhaps write us directly on the link below. You can find us on X and other YouTube and other social channels. Thank you, and bye-bye.